Yeah, you read the title correctly, but hold on for a second because before you overreact, I want you to know, those of you who don't know me, I did not vote for Trump. I do not support Trump going into this last election. I do not support the moves he's made in this election per se, but I'm going to get into semantics here in a second. I want you all to hypothetically think about what would happen if Kamala Harris, like just pretend in your mind that Kamala Harris defeated Donald Trump, she became president, and let's just say, there was this big upheaval that you're seeing right now to release the Epstein files, show the names in the files, and then you'd have Donald Trump on the outside going like, yeah, if I was elected, I would have been releasing these files. So why is coward Kamala not releasing the files? Okay. Would you not agree that's what we would have seen? Like there would have been this big upheaval outside of Kamala Harris and her regime. And you would see Trump being one of the people in the forefront, would you not? Now, we all know Trump would mainly be doing this because he knows that Kamala isn't going to throw liberals under the bus, much like how Biden didn't even remotely hint that he was going to release the Epstein files. Kamala didn't even hint that she was remotely interested in releasing the Epstein files. So then it would be this whole thing of like, this whole scandal would go out and it would be similar to what you're seeing today. The big difference is Kamala never made a promise to release these files. Trump did. Trump, if he would have lost, he would have absolutely been out in the forefront saying, release these files, coward Kamala, all this other stuff. But since that isn't the alternate future that we went to the real future, which is Trump being in office now, the amount of damage he is doing to the Republican Party is arguably greater than any successful Democratic run at president right now. Because again, hypothetically, if Kamala was in office, the economy was booming, prices were dropping on commodities, et cetera, stock market was doing great, the war in Ukraine ended or something like that, the Palestinians and Jews start marrying each other in Israel, like, whatever fantasy, superfluous Shangri-La envisioning of the future you want to get. I don't think that would have benefited the Democratic Party or the progressive movement as much as what you're seeing the damage to the Republican Party now with what Donald Trump is doing. So yes, I'm kind of grateful that he's won. And I'm also grateful that people seem to be waking up right now and realizing this establishment shit ain't it anymore. What you saw happen in New York City, where you have a radical candidate winning the Democratic nod to be on the ticket for the mayoral race in November for mayor of New York City, is astonishing. This is about as anti-establishment as you're going to get. But this is the time right now where if you're on the left on anywhere in that spectrum and you're those fringe voters that are burnt by how MAGA and Trump have handled the quote unquote living of the deep state. Because again, these are people, a lot of people in MAGA are the anti-deep state people. Drain the swamp. And now the most deep state thing ever is being buried by the hands of Trump and his establishment. These are people that are willing to vote on some radical candidates that are a little left of the spectrum, but not establishment. And this is the time to actually get so many candidates that aren't just going to step and fetch for AIPAC, that aren't going to step and fetch for anything the establishment backs, the war machine, etc., stuff like that. Oh, we got to defend Israel against Iran. Nah, we don't. Anyway, do we have to drop bombs on Iran? No, we don't. That's another thing that helped, another decision that dumb Donald just made, dropping bombs on Iran. Like, great, that's a great move to make. Anyway, you got people like Candace Owens speaking out against Donald Trump right now. You got any number of pundits. Like, I know people are going to argue, like, what are you talking about? MAGA is still a thing. Donald Trump still has a ton of support, but the support is fracturing. you're kidding yourself if you say otherwise. When you got people like Candace Owens saying, I'd rather my son desert the army than go serve in it to defend Israel against Iran or attack Iran in the interests of Israel. I agree with her. I'd want my son doing the same. Like the things, like people like me on the left are agreeing with people like Candace Owens. I've never agreed with Candace Owens in my life. I am now. And it's all because of decisions Donald Trump has made. So it is astonishing. And I am so curious to see how these midterm elections go, because the one thing that I'm worried about is that Donald Trump stops the ridiculousness now and starts making moves to appease his base from here on into the midterms. Because the one thing that I can't stand of specifically about the American voters is they are so short-term memoried. Man, you better remember the bombs dropping on Iran. You better remember the Epstein files being shoved in a hole and covered with 100 feet of dirt. Because that's the one thing I fear, is that all this just boils down. The Epstein files become no longer a thing 2.5 years from now, or 3.5 years. No, 1.5 years from now, the midterm election. I'm thinking of the general election. Anyway, 1.5 years from now, everything may bubble down. There may be, no more bombs dropped on Iran, and there might be a peace agreement with Israel and all their neighbors, etc. But I just see so much fracturing. I hear so many pundits that are MAGA loyalists being upset with Trump. Again, this was the whole movement based on one of the main pillars being destruction of the deep state. And I'm sorry, but burying a pedophile ring with multi-millionaires in luxury, going to a luxury resort on an island, if that ain't the most, if that ain't the most deep state thing, then I don't know what is. Anyway, I don't know. I'm to the point now where I'm just sitting back and I'm watching. I can't wait to see what this guy does next. Because another thing that I feel is going to be alarming, that is going to really shake the confidence of MAGA, is you're going to see Donald Trump decline in his physical ability and his mental capacity. And you're already seeing it. The swelling of the legs, the more stuttering of his speech, falling asleep on camera. You're seeing that happen more and more. All that Sleepy Joe talk, boy, karma is a biatch there. So anyway, I think that I don't see how Donald Trump, what he could possibly do that is going to strengthen his base and reassure them, other than releasing the Epstein list, of which we all know he's going to be on it. I mean, do you think he's going to win this case against the Wall Street Journal for releasing that love letter he made to Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday? I mean, there's any of many ways that the Wall Street Journal could use to verify that this was legit and real. There's ways to see if the signature he made on it, Donald Trump made on the letter, was with any sort of, there's any of many forensic ways you can dissect the information from there and see that it was a signature made in around 2003 when it was purported to be made. So good luck with that. And again, Rupert Murdoch is in charge of the Wall Street Journal. Why would Rupert Murdoch publish an article so damning of Donald Trump? And I agree, it does look like something that was made up. It doesn't look like stuff that Donald Trump would not say per se. But I can't see how Rupert Murdoch, the creator of Fox News, would run with this story if there wasn't stone cold, without a shadow of a doubt, legitimacy behind it. Again, Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal. He has say over anything major like this. And you could say he's feeble-minded and whatnot, and he's the guy that gets pushed around in a wheelchair all day now, and he's so old. But you got to be kidding me if he doesn't have principles in place at that newspaper that wouldn't agree ideologically with the right side of the spectrum, and specifically not want to do something that's going to be ever damning of Donald Trump's career in office. So, yeah, good luck with saying that, like, the deep state was behind that or something like that, or that it wasn't Donald Trump. Again, Donald Trump has to sue. They'd be like, well, then why is Donald Trump suing the Wall Street Journal? Because he has to. If he doesn't, it makes it look like, oh dear, I guess I did do that. There's no use fighting it. Like, no, he has to fight it. And just pull out some sort of impropriety and hope that the court decision goes in his favor. And again, why is Donald Trump calling the head editor of the Wall Street Journal saying, you better not publish that. You're in big trouble if you publish it. If it's not you and it's fake, why don't you say, go ahead and publish it. It's not me. I'll sue the shit out of you. I don't got nothing to worry about. It's not me. That's what you say. If you're an innocent man, it's like if someone's threatening like to post like a letter or that a love letter I wrote to someone and be like, I'm going to show your wife. Go ahead. I haven't written any love letters to my wife since before my wife. So go ahead. Good luck with that. Anyway, just interesting. You're going to see a number of things like this. Like, again, it's going to be damning when you see that Wall Street Journal verdict come out, which is going to be closer to the midterm elections than now. So that's going to be perfect timing. I don't see how Trump staying in office is going to strengthen the Republicans' chances. And again, the Republicans in Congress are the ones that unanimously voted to keep the Epstein files secret. Okay? And that is going to be just shown on TV and every ad to the extreme. Now, what I do not like is a lot of these Democrats that are in office right now. What I do want to see is a lot more radicals beating a lot of these incumbent Democrats on the tickets to get on the primary tickets against whoever's going to be running against them. So, I feel like now is the time more than ever that we get rid of so many of these life-serving establishment clowns in office right now. This is the time. The iron is hot. It's time to strike. It's going to start with that mayoral race in New York City. And hopefully that turns out the way we all want it to, or most of us want it to. Anyway, but now's the time. This could be a really good turning point in our country. Like, if one thing I was hopeful for Trump is like, maybe he will keep his word. Maybe he will destroy the deep state. Maybe he will drain the swamp. Nah, his bread is buttered just like any other politician. AIPAC, you want me to drop a bomb on Iran? Okay, I'll do that. I'll stick up for the interests of Israel. Epstein files, you guys want them buried? You don't want me to release? Okay, I'll do that. You got it, deep state. Buried. Done. Stop talking about it. Move on. We're still talking about that guy? Yeah, we are, because you were, Donald. Anyway. Thank you, Kamala Harris, for losing to Donald Trump. I mean, my biggest fear was that Ukraine was going to just roll over and die, but they've done anything but that. Russia has barely gained any land in their summer offensive so far. They've got a little land in Sumy. That's about it. So, yeah, I'm not really that worried. I do think it sucks that we're still not arming Ukraine to the teeth and just utterly decimating Russia back into the motherland. But it sucks that there's still just nightly attacks on Kiev and everywhere else in Ukraine right now. But Ukraine's striking back too. They got, unlike what Donald Trump thinks, they have a lot of cards left to play. So, anyways, congratulations, Kamala Harris, on losing to Donald Trump. I'm actually now grateful that happened because, again, the most flawlessly ran presidency by Kamala Harris wouldn't have done as much damage to the Republican Party as what Donald Trump has done to the Republican Party in just 6 months. Wow. But you still have to have the elections. This could age like a fine milk in the warm summer sun. So anyways, we'll check back in a year and a half now and see what exactly happened. Slava Ukraini, that is all.